Look, I really like the KTM500. It definitely is a fun bike, it screams race ready, and it's an absolute monster to ride in the desert, and on fast flowing single track. It's also proven to be a very reliable bike. But is the new DRZ4S actually better than the KTM500? Now we all know I can't answer that question for everyone because everyone rides differently. Everyone has different experience levels, different terrain, and different expectations from a motorcycle. So I can only give my opinion based on my own riding style and the type of riding I actually do with this particular model. First, I want to briefly talk about my riding style. Most of the time I'm out exploring by myself with this particular bike.
I also noticed a lot is the DRZ4S. It does have power, right? It's very linear and it's smoother. This one, it's hard to describe it unless you ride a KTM500. It has like these random, almost like the CRF450, low end, almost am I gonna stall here or not kind of vibe.
I'm riding mountain passes, forest roads, 50-inch trails, and every now and then I might jump onto some single track. The problem with Colorado is there is a lot of unknown, and I can get in trouble pretty quickly if I need to turn around because a lot of the tight spaces and the awkward trail carving. So say if you're going like downhill off a 50-inch trail and you run into a down tree, it could be very hard to turn around that bike. And the DRZ4S might be a little tough to turn around because of the weight. Now the DRZ4S can definitely handle a lot of the single track we have here in Colorado without really much trouble. But here is the key word: leisure riding and exploring.
But being back here all the way out by myself, my nerves are a little, like, hey, I don't know if I trust this KTM500. I'm hoping nothing happens. Chances are nothing won't happen. But I feel a lot better with the DRZ4S. The DRZ4S, it's gonna be...
I'm out solo riding, just exploring, having fun. I'm not really about going that fast. I still do, but I'm more about to the scenery when I'm out by myself. I need to take it at a safe pace. And honestly, it's very hard to do that on the KTM500. Not because it can't, but because it always feels like it's begging you to go faster. It's an aggressive bike. It almost encourages you to ride aggressively all the time, and before you know it, you're carrying way more speed than you intended.
Honestly, the only downfall about the KTM 500 is it is so easy to go fast on this thing. Like, I'm constantly hitting speeds of 45, 50 miles an hour. And
one thing that surprised me about the DRZ4S though was the smoothness and the low end power. I also have that random cutoff that the CRF450 RL has, where it stalls randomly. Some KTM models have it.
Oh no. Shit. That flame out is what I'm talking about. Well, the DRZ4S, I could have left it at fourth gear, put around slowly, and I knew, as long as I'm modulating the clutch, it's going to be that predictive flame out. This one can happen
and
like that.
Unfortunately, the fix is a little expensive because of an ECU. But other than that, the KTM is very reliable. It has plenty of low-end torque. Nobody's going to argue that. But in my opinion, the DRZ4S delivers its power much smoother low-end when you're transitioning into the mid-range. It feels more predictable and a lot easier to control, especially when you're just putting around technical trails or picking your way through rocky terrain. The KTM500 is an absolute desert slayer. That's the best way I can describe this model. It's incredibly easy to get carried away on that bike because it makes speed feel very effortlessly. The best way I can describe it is it's like riding a leader bike on the street. You're doing 100 miles per hour and it doesn't even feel like it. That's what the KTM 500 reminds me when you're off-roading. The DRZ4S, on the other hand, just screams comfort for the type of riding I do. In a weird way, it actually feels like a smaller bike or a smaller motorcycle once you're sitting on it. I know that sounds a little odd. Now hear me out, because on paper, yes, it's heavier. When you sit on it, when you wiggle it back and forth, it does feel You know, the weight, the center of gravity is really good, but when you start tipping it over, yes, it does feel heavier. The KTM definitely feels lighter while you're riding. I know, it's odd, but there's something about the DRZ4S ergonomics. Everything just feels closer and easier to reach and easier to maneuver the bike in a sense. The cockpit just feels more natural to me, and overall I just felt more relaxed riding it. The KTM500 is also a very tall motorcycle. I'm 6 foot tall, and even then I actually felt slightly more confident on the DRZ4S. I even tried a lower seat height, the shaved seat, and it just felt big. To give you an example, because of my current skill level, I'd much rather take the DRZ4S on this technical single track right here than the KTM500. Not because the KTM can't do it, we all know it obviously can, it's a race bike, but because the DRZ4S makes me feel more comfortable and more confident, oddly enough. Now let's talk about one of the downsides of the KTM500. Fuel range. That's a problem when I'm out exploring. The KTM is definitely thirstier than the DRZ4S. It isn't nearly as fuel efficient, so I ended up putting a larger tank on mine. The downside is that when that bigger tank is full, you absolutely notice the extra weight, especially on tighter single track. From what I experienced and based on the fuel economy, I've seen the DRZ4S get surprisingly good mileage, even with its smaller tank. The overall riding range ends up being fairly close to my KTM with the oversized tank installed, which is pretty crazy. Another thing I've noticed with the KTM500, and this is something that's talked about a lot on owner forums, is how quickly it goes through rear tires. It chews up rear tires like there's no tomorrow.
Brand new tires. You can kind of see the middle line is already disappearing. I kid you not, I only have about 4 rides on this thing.
And tires aren't cheap. On top of that, changing them really sucks. The KTM has so much power that it loves to spin that rear tire. That's fun, but it also means you're replacing the tires more often. The DRZ4S on the other hand felt, even running less aggressive dual sport tires, I didn't notice nearly as much wheel spin on the DRZ4S. The power delivery just felt more predictable and easier to manage. The KTM500 absolutely loves to break that rear tire loose, especially when you're turning. But for some reason, even during slower speed maneuvers or climbing very loose hills, it doesn't always feel as planted as I want the KTM500 to be. I rode a very similar hill climb on the DRZ4S, and sure, it fishtailed a little bit, but nowhere near as much as the KTM. I'm not exactly sure if that's because of the smoother power delivery, the chassis, the weight distribution, or lower center of gravity. The DRZ4S just felt easier to climb up these hill climbs, you can say. Now, if I were to race desert events, riding fast going open terrain, racing and aggressive riding, or trying to go as fast as possible, for sure, I pick the KTM500 every single time. It's a race bike. But for what I actually do with this specific bike here, exploring Colorado, riding forest roads, mountain passes, 50-inch ATV trails, and occasional single track, the DRZ4S honestly fits my riding style better.
One of the things too is I did find the DRZ4S a perfect in-betweener, sitting down a lot and also standing up. I mean, standing up, the KTM500 wins. Sitting down, the DRZ4S felt a little bit more friendly, I would say. The KTM500, you know, it's that's what it is. It's a race bike.
It lets me slow down, enjoy the ride. It's very comfortable. It can be aggressive if you want it to, but it won't beat you up like a KTM500 in my opinion. And for me, honestly, I probably should have gone with the DRZ4S, and my riding style, I think the DRZ4S is definitely a better choice. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Maybe you guys have both machines, the DRZ4S and KTM500. I'd like to hear your opinions, but leave them in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys in my next video.